Welcome all student in the course of Data Communication Networking B 7th semester Electronics and Communication. We are discussing the unit number 1 Introduction to Data Communication Networking, and our topic is layers in the OSI model. In the previous session we have discussed 4 layers of OSI model: physical, data link, network and transport layer. In this session we are going further for remaining 4 layers of OSI model. Session layers. As you can see in this figure, the figure clearly explains the session layer activity. It manages the sequence and flow events. It builds to support multiple types of connections. So let us define the session layer. The service provided by the first 3 layers, physical, data link and network layer, are not sufficient for some process. The session layer is a network dialog controller. It establishes, maintains and synchronizes the interaction among the communicating services or systems. So the session layer is responsible for a dialog control and synchronization. Fine. It is written over there. Dialog control and synchronization means, suppose let's take an example that suppose you are making some online currency transaction, just like in your bank account. Suppose XYZ bank account, you have to log in with your password and login ID. A particular token is given for some time, that after that time it will not valid. So this type of activity will be done by the session layer. Fine. So example is our banking transaction. So what is the role of a session layer? Let us discuss. The two main role of for a session layer is a dialog control and synchronization, as I already told you. So what is a dialog control? The session layer allows two systems to enter into a dialogue. It allows the communication between the two processes to take place in either half duplex or a full duplex. Synchronization. The session layer allows the process to add checkpoints or synchronization points to a stream of data. For example, if the system is sending a file of 2000 pages, it is advisable to insert a checkpoint after every 100 pages to ensure that the 100 page unit is received and acknowledged independently. In this case, if a crash happens during the transmission of page number 523, the only pages that need to be resent after the recovery are pages of 501 to 523. The pages previous to 501 need not to be resent. A figure illustrates the relationship of session layer to the transport layer and the presentation layer. Means data come from the presentation layer and it will be form a particular synchronization over session layer and then given to the transport layer at the transmitting side. At the receiving side, the reverse procedure is there. It is a header. A red block shows the header and it is a synchronization points, as I already discussed right now. Fine. Let's go ahead. What is the next layer? Yes, presentation layer. So presentation layer, as you see, is some type of a presentation required to your data. So it will have an encryption and decryption. Let us discuss the presentation layer in detail. The presentation layer is concerned with the syntax and semantics of the information exchanged between the two systems. The following figure shows the relationship between the presentation layer, application layer and session layer. Means the data will come from the application layer, upper layer, then the presented in this presentation layer and given to the session layer. The reverse procedure is also done at the receiving side. So you can say that the presentation layer is responsible for translation, compression and encryption. So it is a role of a presentation layer. We are going to see each term. Fine. So responsibilities of presentation layer is a translation, encryption and compression as we have defined earlier. Translation. The process running programs in the two systems are usually exchanging the information in the form of characters, strings, numbers and so on. The information must be changed to bit stream before be transmitted. Because the different computer uses the different encoding systems, the presentation layer is responsible for interoperability between these different encoding methods. The presentation layer is a sender changes the information from its sender dependent format into the common format. The presentation layer at the receiving machine changes the common format into its receiver dependent format. Means it can be translation. A transmitter translate the data to the common medium, then receiver receives the data in a common medium and then translate it in the receiver dependent format. Fine. Next is encryption. Very good topic, encryption and decryption. So what is encryption? To carry sensitive information, a system must be able to ensure the privacy. Right now privacy is a main concern in every data communication. So encryption means that the sender transforms the original information into the another form and send to the resulting message out to the network. So no one can detect that message. Only sender and receiver knows what is the data. The decryption receives the original process to the transform message back to the original form. Fine. So our receiver will decrypt the data, then read the message. We are going to see the cryptography, a separate chapter in this course. So right now you just understand the encryption. Encryption means to convert our plain text into the encoded or coded form. Last is compression. The data compression reduces the number of bits contained in the information. The data compression becomes particularly important in the transmission of media such as text, audio or video. Let's take an example. Suppose you are sending your images through some social media platform. Let's take example WhatsApp. When your image will be in 2 to 3 MB size, when you send that image to the particular social media application WhatsApp, that particular image will be compressed, the size will be reduced. So it is an example of our compression. There will be also drawback of the compression, that it will reduce some quality of image, just like we have some less pixel value of our image in our WhatsApp. So we are preferable this image transmission from that media. Fine. So it is the responsibilities of the presentation layer. So what is the last layer? Mostly you are using with the PCs or laptops or mobiles. Yes, it is a application layer. The figure explains all of the thing. It supplies the network service to the end user as us and provides the data to the presentation layer. Fine. So what is application layer? An application layer enables the user, whether human or software, to access the network. As we are accessing our video through the YouTube channel. Fine. It provides user interface and support for a service such as electronic mail, remote file access and transfer, shared database management, and other type of distributed information services. Yes, this figure shows the relationship between the application layer to the user and the presentation layer. It is our user, our human or program, then different protocols are there, and it is our message, header will be there, and that given to the presentation layer. The reverse procedure is given at a receiver. One of the many application services available, the figure shows only 3: X.400, the message handling services, X.500 directory services, file transfer access and management, FTFAM. There are also various services available. We are going to see in detail in our further chapters or units. The user is this example employs X.400 to send an email message. So we can say that application layer is responsible for providing service to the user as us. So what are the roles of application layers? So these are the roles of application layer, very important. First is network virtual terminal. A network virtual terminal is the software version of a physical terminal, and it allows a user to log on a remote host. Means, suppose we are having some issue and we don't want to go at the same place, so we can just have a software which will show your desktop at the far end. So it is an example of network virtual terminal. To do so, the application creates a software emulation of a terminal at the remote host. As I already told you, the user's computer talks to the software terminal, which is talk to the host, and vice versa. The remote host believes it communicating with one of its own terminal that allows user to log on. Second, file transfer, access and management. This application shows users to access files in a remote host, to make changes or read data, to retrieve files from the remote computer for the use in a local computer, or to manage or control files in the remote computer locally. Means, suppose you want to download some file from the Google Drive, so it is we can download that file with the help of our browser. Fine. So it is an example of our application layer responsibility. Next is mail services. This application provides the basis of email forwarding and storage, as you are using with Google, Yahoo, Microsoft. Last is directory services. This application provides the distributed database sources and access for the global information about the various object and service. This generally used for a database management systems, DBMS, and rarely some of your friends will do the database management activity if they are interested. So up to now we have discussed all the OSI layers. Some of your friends and some of you have forgot some services and its role. So let us summarize, or let us a conclusion picture to understand and to memorize your OSI layer very easily. So let's go for a summary. So this image shows the summary of each layer. In your exam, you just remember a one image, then you can write a 7 marks GTU question very easily. So as our conventional method, we are starting with lowest layer, then go for upward and up the end top layer. So physical layer, it is used to transmit bits over a medium. It is provided to mechanical and electrical specification. Data link layer, it is used to organize bits into the frames and to provide a hop-to-hop delivery. Network layer, it is used to move packets from source to the destination and to provide the internetworking. Transport layer, it is used to provide a reliable process-to-process message delivery and error recovery. Session layer, it is used to establish, manage and terminate the sessions. Presentation layer is used to translate, encrypt and compress the data. Finally, application layer allow access to network resources. Fine. So it is very good images and very easy to remember each and every stage of the OSI layer. So it is a one summary of layers in a table format. which will give you a detailed explanation of each layer. Let's go through. So, first, our physical layer. So, what is a physical layer? It defines the physical structure of the network and the topology. The access of the data link layer provides the error detection and correction. It uses two distinct sublayers, the media access control or MAC and the logic link control LLC layers. It identifies the method by which the media is accessed. It also defines the hardware addressing through the MAC sublayer. So these two terms, MAC and LLC, is new for you. So it is a major function of each layer. So remember this thing and write down in your answer also, which will you enhance your marks in exam. Network layer, layer number 3. It will handle the delivery of the destination system and addressing. It provides the mechanism by which the data can be passed from one network to the another. Transport layer. The main function of the transport layer is to providing a connection service between the sending and the receiving devices and ensures the reliable data delivery, just like our TCP/IP. It manages flow control through the buffering or windowing. We are going to see buffering and windowing in preceding sessions. Provides segmentation, error checking and service identification. Session layer, layer number 5. It synchronizes the data exchange between the application or a separate device. Presentation layer, layer number 6. It translates data from format used by the application into the one that can be transmitted across the network. It will handle encryption and decryption of the data. It provides the compression and decompression functionality. It formats the data from one application layer into the formats that can send it over the network. Last, our application layer, layer number 7. It provides access to the network for the applications, such as our web browser, file transfer protocol, HTTP, etc. etc. So students, today we have completed 3 layers of OSI model and also have a summary of functions and roles of OSI layers. So it is a question for you. In the first question, write down the roles of each layer of session, presentation and application. In the second question, in the short note, you have to write its overall functionality as we see in our discussion. Hope you understand the OSI model thoroughly. Contact if any query. Thank you students. See you in the next session.